Hello and welcome to Apocalypse Keys. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse inspired game. It is done by Sword of Queen Games and Evil Hat Productions. Um, I am your key master, Starshare Stories. I go by she, they. I run this lovely channel called The Starfield. And you can find me under most iterations of Starshare Stories on most corners of the internet, such as Blue Sky, TikTok, Discord, and I think and Instagram and Threads. Um I also host a bunch of other shows on this channel, such as Gen Meta. I host them. Werewolf the Apocalypse, anything World of Darkness. And you can also eventually find me on Gehenna Gaming's official channel for a mini series of their Eldritch Automata game, and it is going to be called Violence Against Nature. Um, I would love to announce the crew. It is Sphinx Akasha, Madness Diamond, myself, Blackwell, Renowned, myself, and our lovely events coordinator at Gehenna Gaming, known as Eric, and it is ran by a GM known as Just Kyle. Tune in for whenever that's gonna air. I don't know when it's gonna air, but we are here, and we are going to start with Canterbury, who's going to be played by Basil.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Basil. My pronouns are he, they, z. I'm playing Canterbury Bell. They, them. They just go by Canterbury. Nobody uses their full name except their terrible handler. Canterbury is basically just, a little person just trying to do their best, but they're burnt out and tired and probably on their 10th pot of coffee. You can find me pretty much mostly Blue Sky. I have a Twitter, but it's dead now. It's still there, but I don't post. So you can find me on Blue Sky. I also have a website, towerofbasil.wordpress.com. When I'm not doing actual plays, I design my own games. You can find those on Itch. I'm on Blue Sky as Kobania, and that's the same thing for the Itch. So excited and happy to finally play Apocalypse Keys. First time. Woo!
Raka, aka Mara.
Hello, my name is Mara. My pronouns are they, she. First of all, you can find me most places on the internet at Mara F Games. I currently play in a Monster of the Week actual play called The Art of Resistance, which is just about wrapped up. I also pop up in one-shots here or there, and I'm looking forward to getting into more APs as time goes on. I play Raka, who is the Fallen playbook for Apocalypse Keys. Her full name is Arakaste, the goddess of victory and success, or rather, the fallen goddess of victory and success. She is very tall and has 4 arms and it incites a bit of terror into most mortals she comes across. Yeah, they're monstrous. Yeah. And that is Raka.
Sassy, aka Zoop.
Hey, I'm Zoop or Zoop Machine or Supriya. You can call me whatever you want, but don't call me late to the launch. I want to get out of this world. No, I'm kidding. So you can see what I'm doing if you check out my card, zoopmachine.card.co, and Zoop Machine is the title that you can find me pretty much all over the internet. I would say my big permanent gig right now is I am going to be having my debut soon as co-DM of Game Master Monday, the podcast, where we play a new TTRPG almost every week. Sometimes there's miniseries. And I'm very excited about that. And I also show up on a whole bunch of different channels, including this one. And I really love games. I am playing Sasquatch, the Last Bigfoot. Sassy is 7 foot 2 inches tall, a broad woman, with you guessed it, big feet. And she has long black hair, dark skin with vertigo. Instead of white patches, she has dark patches, very much void colored throughout her body. And she's often seen wearing a whole suit of furs, looking a little bit like a Wookiee, or perhaps what you know as Sasquatch. Oh, her pronouns are she, her, and so are mine.
Do you all look around the office building as the cat is sitting there?
No, the cat told us to follow. Wait, actually, while we're pausing for a second,
Yes.
does everyone have a your impulse on their sheet at the start of every session? Choose one to explore during play.
Mm-hmm.
Should we have chosen our impulse for this session?
Yeah, I'll allow it since this is an introductory and if I remember the impulse at the very end of the session has to do with experience.
Yeah, you either get an experience or a ruin if you answer the specific, whichever specific question you choose. So I will say, did you share a story of your people and what you lost as mine?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I picked mine at some point earlier while we were talking. My impulse I went with was, did you shoulder the responsibility of another you know you shouldn't care for?
Okay. All right.
So I have one more question since we're still paused. For the conditions, I can't figure out whether we start with all of them like checked, because like the character sheet comes with like two blank ones, but the checkbox is already filled in. So I don't know whether like they start out unmarked or they all start out marked and then you clear them based off of.
You clear them. Basically, if you clear them, that means you are under that condition. So
the
Okay.
two that are already blocked out, when you gain that condition, it's a condition.
Okay, so then like what, I guess like sorry for all the questions, but like what causes like the condition to like activate then? Do I just choose to be under that condition, or is that something you do as the GM?
It is me as the GM or something that your move does if you go too far on a move.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm doing all this correctly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be keeping all of this part in because this is the introductory session, so I'm not editing any of this out. So, because those are important questions, because this is a system that we don't really see a lot of. Okay. Let me double check some things. La-di-da-da.
Also, the impulse that I'm choosing, I'm gonna pick a softball one for this intro session.
Okay.
Did you bless the week with the immeasurable glory of your presence?
Okay. All right. So what's going to be so funny about this, I'm going to cut most of this chunk out and then put it at the very beginning of the game.
Perfect.
Yep. Because those are important questions, so I'm going to do them after we do the bonds and building division. All these questions are going to be moved to this section.
Perfect.
Yep. So, our cast will all be playing monster agents of a division called Division. Haha. I did this to myself. Which it is called. I lost my notes. Oh no. The Department of Interdimensional Vigilance and International Security and Interdisciplinary Operations Network. It is an organization that combats occult threats, classifies supernatural phenomena, and investigates the encroaching apocalypse. You're part of an elite group with unique set of skills. Only you can hold back the apocalypse. and hold this broken world together. As a reminder, with Division as well, you are not the only agents here. There are also human agents within this organization as well. So on that note, we are actually going to show you the last part of character creation and the setting up the Division before we start our mystery. There is a section called Bonds, which actually gives you benefits a +1 or a -1 to a dice roll for every bond that you spend. However, when you use a bond, it does not deteriorate the relationship between characters. You can also gain bonds through social interactions as well. So, with our players, we have Canterbury the Chained, Raka the Fallen, and Sassy the Last. So we are going to start with Canterbury. We have your 2 bond questions. Let me pull them up. You have, the first one is, you long to worship me. Your heart yearns for me. Why do I keep my distance from you? Which player are you going to assign that to you? And you are going to gain 2 bonds with them.
That is Raka's question.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Raka, I guess you're gonna answer that.
Okay. Yeah, so the answer to you long to worship me, your heart yearns for me, why do I keep my distance from you? Is Canterbury. Canterbury is pulled between 2 reasons for wanting to be near Raka. Canterbury is hoping to achieve some sort of personal success and victory and be free from either the darkness that binds them or the handler that minds them. And their darkness wants Canterbury to succeed at being the last person left standing at the end and fulfilling their dark destiny. Canterbury believes that Raka, being divine, can sense the grasping nature of the darkness within them and is keeping Raka is keeping her distance to prevent the demon in Canterbury from achieving its goals.
Okay. Now, Sassy, this is your connection to Canterbury. You know of another like me. How does keeping the secret from me protects me?
So Canterbury actually answers that for me. That's my question. And Canterbury is answering that question.
Okay, Canterbury. I'm running on very little caffeine this morning, so please bear with me.
No problem.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so the bond question was, you know of another like me. How does keeping this secret from me protect me? Where the me in this case is all Sassy. Canterbury is aware of the fact that, good job typing that this morning, me. Canterbury is aware of the fact that Sassy has suffered the loss of her people. Sorry, I'm just fixing that. That was bothering me. And Canterbury's really worried that if Sassy learns there's another Sasquatch alive, that she'll disappear and never return. And I feel like Canterbury is like wanting to be friends with Sassy, and so it's like, no, my one friend that I take with me as a buffer to theoretical parties, don't leave.
And now, Canterbury. This is the last bond that I can see on here is, why are you tempted to give in to what the darkness demands?
So for Canterbury, they're just really tired. They just want the whispers to stop and to finally rest. They're extremely burnt out. For Canterbury, I don't think there's some like big, profound reason. It's like, I just want to go to bed, dog. Like, I just want to sleep. I just want to be left alone, finally.
All right. Now we are going to go to Raka. This is one of the questions. You made sure my fall was swift and terrible. Why don't I hate you for it?
So I'm gonna. Oops, I think I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. Yay! So I'm gonna answer that, and my answer to that is that Raka was a goddess of Sassy's people, the Big Feet or the Bigfoots. and she was the god of success and victory. And basically, when the humans came for the Bigfoots, the god of wrath convinced us that we shouldn't be celebrating victory and success. Victory and success were not going to protect us, that only the god of wrath turning on the humans would protect us. And so Raka fell, and we elevated the god of wrath, who did us dirty. We ended up being almost entirely eliminated by humans. And the only reason, Raka, you don't hate me for it is because we got what we deserved in a way. You fell and we fell too. And so there is that shared understanding of loss.
You long to worship me. Your heart yearns for me. Why do I keep my distance?
Yeah, I think we touched on that
We
one.
did.
Yeah, and that was Canterbury's answer.
All right. Why are you tempted to give in to what the darkness demands?
I crave the glory and vengeance of defeating the gods who betrayed me.
All right. And I think we have 2 questions left. We loved each other once. Why do we keep hurting each other?
So Sassy was a former worshipper of Raka, who swayed to the side of Rabja, the god of wrath, during a crisis where the humans had begun to hunt them, and this betrayal still haunts Raka. Sassy reminds Raka of why Raka fell.
And Sassy?
Yes.
Why are you tempted to give in to what the darkness demands?
So Sassy misses her family, her culture, and at times of deep loneliness, when she feels alien to all the humans around her, she yearns to join her family, either through resurrection or through death of all.
All right. And I see one more question that I missed, and this isn't on me. You were there when I was first dragged into Vision with my handler watching. Why did my handler want you to be part of the retrieval team?
Yeah, so that is Canterbury's question. And my response to that question of Canterbury's is that the handler, Amina Faye, knew that I was an expert in loneliness, and that Canterbury was also experiencing loneliness, and hoped that by being able to show that I too have felt that loneliness and know what that isolation feels like, I could get them to come in from the cold.
Okay. So we have established our bonds, including the one for the darkness, that all of you have a chance of slipping into and becoming a harbinger yourselves. Now, we are going to build our division. And these are all questions that each of you are going to answer to. We are going to start with Canterbury. Where is division located? Are there many branches or just this one?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, like the general setting of like Apocalypse Keys is like it's like Earth but not Earth, right? Essentially.
It is and it isn't. It's like it's pocket dimensions. There's pocket dimensions within pocket dimensions. It's like Doctor Who, but not Doctor Who. It's on Earth yet not on Earth, but time is also a weird linear thing. Have you seen A Wrinkle in Time?
Yes.
It's a little bit of a wrinkle in time as well.
Okay. So I think first off, yes, Division has many branches. Anything that's a pseudo-governmental agency worth its salt has multiple branches to deal with
Mm-hmm.
issues throughout the known universe, multiverse. There's probably also a branch that's just for people they don't like that they put in the corner. So it's like, oh, you're not getting fired, you're not getting demoted. We just kind of you're out here on this outpost that nobody visits ever, and it's cold and damp. And so I think like the main hub of Division, I think like owing to that wrinkle, it's everywhere and it's nowhere. Like I feel like the party line is like Division is where it needs to be. Like Division home base is where it needs to be. So like if you turn around, like, oh, it's there, oh, you're in some kind of universe where everything's upside down. Well, there it is on the ceiling. You kind of just and like I think it also annoys Canterbury, like how you can't ever get away from that place. Like every time you turn around, there it is, the place that you're stuck in.
Got it. Raka, what about Division is mundane?
There is so much paperwork. Oh my goodness. Like, it's a good thing Raka has 4 arms. There's so much paperwork.
Oh my gosh. The true mundane horror of any game, paperwork. Is there anything else mundane besides the paperwork?
I mean, like most sort of, like governmental like agencies or the corporate world, there's all sorts of mundanity. Like the coffee maker might not work. There's office politics, which is how you get sent to the one that's like really damp and cold and nobody goes there. I think the elevator's out for the 3rd time this month. Like it's got a very office culture,
Okay.
despite it being so populated with like not your typical office crew.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of keeps you grounded in this reality. Is like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna go and grab a drink at the water cooler and talk to this Naga and then go fight with the printer. Like,
Sassy, what about Division is strange?
Well, the fact that you are at the water cooler talking to the Naga, honestly, that for a normal, uninitiated human, that would be very strange. It is the assignments that we're given. It is the fact that um, we're going out and we're stopping apocalypses. It is weird that the apocalypse happens so often or comes close so often. That is very strange. Also strange is that we get a gift basket every Friday with an assortment of chocolates.
Okay.
Why do they do that? I don't know. They're trying to get us to not question anything. It's very strange.
Morale boosting. So we are going to start with Raka for the second question. How are the monsters agents, like you, treated differently than the human agents? How does this show in division structure?
oh, in the structure. Um, I mean, anytime that you're amongst humans, when you're not as human adjacent as they would like you to be, right? There's going to be a sense of otherness. There's going to be a sense of not belonging. And unfortunately, with like office politics and with being like othered in a way, it's hard to progress upwards. Like, Raka would be a really great director, but that's not going to happen. Not when she's also like volatile and um scaring off interns with the second set of arms.
And also
Um,
useful. Like, we're useful in a way that, like, the president just sits on their butt at the top. We are the ones, they say the mediocre people are the ones who become managers, and it's the people who actually get stuff done that are kept down.
Huh. Funny you say that. Sassy, what is your favorite area of Division?
They have a little museum tucked into a corner of one of their buildings, and it's the Hall of Remembrance.
Aw.
And they, as part of the Hall of Remembrance, they have things to both people and species that have been lost. And there is a very particular exhibit there about the Bigfoots and who they were before the humans came for them. And she spends time there sometimes.
Now, the last question, Canterbury. What area is off limits, even to you?
I think the room that's off limits is a room within a room. So within Canterbury's handler's office, there's a back door that they've never been able to go into. Like, it's just a normal nondescript door. From time to time, when they go meet their handler to talk to them or whatever, they see Amina come out from behind that door. And Canterbury's always wondered what Fair is doing back there, but Canterbury never gets a straight answer. So, other than being told, you're not allowed back there. Like, what's behind that door? So I do think like it probably. I think Canterbury likes to pretend that they don't obsess about the door. They obsess about the door.
I love that. So,
Does the door ever rattle?
I think
ominously?
I think it rattles sometimes, and Canterbury's just like, eh. It's just like, don't worry about it.
There might be a muffled scream behind there every so often. You're not quite sure. So we are going to set up the beginning of our lovely little story of just starting a normal day at the office. Though, I would like to know, what is everyone's wake-up routine? Though, Canterbury, I'm pretty sure you've been up about 24 hours at this point. What is Canterbury's 24-hour routine?
So, when most people are waking up, Canterbury is on their question mark amount cup of coffee. I think, honestly, I don't really think Canterbury tracks how much coffee they drink, but it's just sort of measured in terms of pots of coffee rather than cups. So they're just back at the coffee machine, refilling it, pouring themselves the last of the old pot and drinking it, and just kind of honestly just staring out into space, like just drinking it and just being like,
Canterbury, hey, you're zoning off again. And you see Amina there, always looking perfectly pristine. Like, there's never anything off with what Faye wear. It's always white and gold. White and gold. Though they're holding folding a file out towards you. I need this done by the end of today. I promise I will put in a good word for you with the boss.
And Canterbury just kind of with their free hand is like scratching at their face, and you kind of see like flakes of their scraggly beard hair just kind of falling off because there is no maintenance going on with Canterbury. Just kind of staring at Amina. Do you want me to burn that file like the last one, or
Yeah, I need you to burn this one for me. I don't need anybody to see it.
I mean, okay, yeah, okay, okay. And Canterbury just kind of takes the file and kind of checking the heft and wiggling it a little. So can I read this one this time, or is this just a?
I can't say you can't, but I wouldn't suggest it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. And you see Canterbury just pull all the papers out of the folder, start crumpling them up, and they're just gonna shove it in their pockets. And they just sort of take the manila folder and it's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll find a good way to get rid of all this.
Thank you, can't. And they walk off. The hooves are like clacking on the floor as Amina leaves, waving at Raka and Sassy, as they're both probably arriving for the day. So, what are you two's routine first thing in the morning at Division?
So do we do we sleep at Division, or do we have our own houses?
So, you can either have your place, but I also think Division actually has housing as well, especially if y'all are on a job. It's easier to have housing at the office branch. Um, it's like how most hospitals for like doctors and stuff that are working long hours, there's like that sleeping room that they have. It's like one of those.
So Sassy comes out in her PJs, which she looks like a Wookiee. When she comes out, because her sleeping pajamas are just like they're furry, and you understand why they call them the Bigfoots, and why there are so many stories of the Sasquatch, the big hairy ape man that lives in the woods. It's because she wears her PJs half the time, and they're this furry look. And so she's yawning, all 7'2" of her big, muscular body, stretching. I could read it.
Oh, hey, good morning. And it's just you can hear it's like the most low effort good morning greeting from Canterbury. Yeah, yeah. Canterbury just kind of like leans slightly just to make sure that Amina is definitely gone. Um, and upon seeing that Faye is gone, it's just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, and just kind of pulls out like one of the crumpled pieces of paper and hands it to Sassy, and just starts shredding the manila folder and just shoving it in their mouth because they're just like, yeah, you know what? Stomach acid burns stuff. This'll work. Whatever. I don't want to have to walk that far.
Sassy, how do you respond to this?
Well, that seems very normal to me.
Raka, I feel like you're showing up as Canterbury is shoving pieces of manila folder into their mouth.
She goes to say something, and just the upper two arms shrunk, and she kind of like quietly, still waking up, makes her way towards the break room to fix herself a tea in her world's okayest deity mug. Uh, Giving like a slight nod as she passes, um, trying to keep as chill as possible despite like, another day waking up not the god I once was. Um, so as to not drip golden tears on the floor.
Oh. Sassy, are you reading what's on that file?
Yes.
There is a autopsy report. Though a lot of key things are missing off of this. Name of the victim, age of the victim, how long they've been deceased. There's no photos of anything in it, but all it says is cause of death, stabbing. And a tiny, tiny note at the very, very bottom. And you could tell this has been Xeroxed. So this is a copy of a copy. Might be a member of Division.
Don't know what the might is about there. It doesn't look like there's actually that much scary on this piece. And she hands it back to Canterbury.
Well, thanks. And Canterbury will take a quick look at it and just kind of shove it back in their pocket. Another dead person, huh? Okay. I mean, every day somebody's dying, crying. I think I need more coffee, and is going to go get another cup of coffee.
So the pot is empty, and as you go to start the coffee machine, it makes that grinding noise of where it is probably on its last legs. So one of the human agents runs by, unplugs the coffee machine, and just sticks another one of those really cheap coffee makers down on the counter and just already starts prepping it for Canterbury, and then just takes the old one and walks off.
I think this happens so often considering how much coffee Canterbury drinks. They just kind of just go, yep, okay. And it's just ready for more coffee.
Yeah. There's even like a little memo by the coffee machine of what days to replace the coffee machine. In the tiny corner, there's even like a little office betting pool about when Canterbury's not gonna have coffee.
I think Canterbury sees that and is just like, yeah, well, I hope none of you get the payout, okay? Every day there will be coffee, or I don't, something will happen. Maybe I'll quit. Maybe I'll leave. Maybe, you know what? And then maybe I'll get coffee at a cafe that's not here. And y'all will never know. You'll never know.
Sassy's name is not on the betting list because betting that means that Burr is either dead or has left.
Most of the betting pool is the human agents. None of the monstrous agents are betting on this because they know better. Though, as all of you are settling in, getting your coffee and everything, there's an intercom about one of the agents retiring, and there's going to be a pizza party later on that afternoon. It's also somebody's birthday, so you have the office sheet cake showing up at one point. And it's Friday. There's a reminder to go get your gift baskets from your desks.
You know, I've always suspected. Do you think they put tracking things into those chocolates?
Absolutely. I totally think that they do. But I mean, we don't, well, I can't speak for everyone here, but I don't really go anywhere, not anymore. They kind of grumble. So like, coffee is great. Chocolates are okay. I did like that one time we had those coffee flavored chocolates. That was nice. I was able to stay awake a bit longer that time. Although I had some weird dreams, but I think that's because after I looked at the wrapper, it said you're only supposed to consume like 2 in a 24-hour period. But that's on them. I think there was like 10 of those things in there, so I just ate them all. But I'm still here. I'm still kicking.
You know what's interesting? That happened the week before they sent us on a mission. Do you think they chose coffee flavored on purpose?
I don't think anything is an accident at Division. There's probably also cameras and everything. For all we know, that person over there in Canterbury just points at like a random human agent. That could not even be a person. They could be a camera. You could be a drone. For all I know, your head comes off and underneath is like one of those old timey cameras.
Is this?
Is that true?
Is
that true?
Wait a minute. I just got here?
Why would you do that to us? Don't you know that we're people too?
I am very confused by the energy that we are creating in the office right now. Is this just one of those old school birds or the bourgeoisie memes that are happening right now? What is happening? What is happening? And he just stares into his cup of coffee, wondering if he's just hallucinating all of this.
Are you a bird?
No.
I'm so confused.
My name is just Joe. I'm just a normal guy. What is happening?
Joe is in coffee? This is literally the worst.
Joe is in Joseph.
Does that count as reacting with doubt or confusion?
Yes. Did you gain a darkness token out of that?
Yeah.
Yep. My name is Joe. It's short for Joseph. Are you okay?
I mean, to be honest, I've been awake since today's Friday. Tuesday's still a real day in this universe. Yeah, so probably Tuesday. I remember the sun came up at some point. I've been awake for several days. It's fine. You've always had like 2 heads, right?
No.
The hallucinations are setting in from sleep deprivation. That is fine. The
Come on.
important thing is I can still walk straight.
Come on, Burr. Let's she pulls out a blanket from somewhere. It's just like an emergency blanket. There are emergency blankets all over the place. Let's get you tucked in.
If I try to sleep now, it'll throw off my schedule, and I'll wake up like cranky later, like a toddler. Though I'll take that blanket though, and Canterbury's just gonna take the blanket and wrap it around their shoulders. Like, yeah, you know what, this is nice. Maybe I'll be able to fall asleep a little bit later, maybe. But so also sorry, I guess, Joe, who's just a person and not a bird or a sentient cup of coffee.
And as Canterbury wanders off, Sassy is left looking at Joe going, "What schedule?"
What?
They said that it would throw off their schedule. What schedule?
I'm guessing sleep schedule. Because there's a thing called
Again,
circadian rhythm that you usually have for like a sleep schedule, though
you're
I don't.
new. You're new.
I just started today.
Have you met Raka?
Raka, who has been just quietly sipping her tea and watching this, is just like, "You're new. Oh,
Yeah. Is that like an issue? Should I just like go?
Raka kind of gets like a mischievous grin on her face. Just, you're good to go. But just remember, if we're, how do I put this? We're all here for a reason, and some of us are here for more interesting reasons than others.
I have no idea what that means, but okay.
Do I get a darkness token for feeling that others are beneath me?
Correct? Yes.
Nice.
And Sassy looks at him and says, "Your first day, but do you really think that there is going to be another?"
His poor face just pales. Like, and he just leaves the coffee room.
I have asked someone to doubt their future.
Yeah, go ahead. So Canterbury, are you heading to your desk?
Canterbury had every intention of heading to their desk, but thanks to the blanket, they have fallen asleep standing up briefly. They are micro sleeping.
Cool. I'm gonna ask you a question now, just to hint at something. So, as you are taking a little cat nap, you see a set of glass doors in your dream. And there is a Sphinx cat, which are the hairless cats, with a very pretty shade of lavender skin, with bright, large eyes of amber, and there is various markings that are in a deep purple color. But it seems to be symbols of languages from various parts of the world, even some not from this world that you are on. There is even fine gold jewelry hanging from their neck. They just stare at you.
So are the markings just kind of in the space, or are they on the cat?
They are on the cat.
How big is this? Like a normal hairless cat size, or is this cat bigger than normal?
Normal size.
Okay. I think Canterbury, upon seeing the cat, is just like, "Oh, hey there, kitty. How you're kind of cute. I haven't seen a cat in a while, actually. Here, come here. I'll pet you. I don't know what you do with cats that don't have hair, but that might feel nice, maybe."
They trot up and they tilt their head at you so you don't remember.
Remember what? I mean, I don't sleep regularly, and that impacts memory recall. So I honestly forget a lot of things, like how to open doors sometimes. That one month, that was memorable. Sassy had to open the door for me.
We'll meet again here soon. All of you. We will meet again soon.
Okay, you're a ominous cat. Why can't I ever have normal dreams, man?
At least I'm not saving you this time.
Uh, uh, sure. You know what? Yeah. This is definitely better than. You know what? Sure. Just sure. I'm so tired.
So if you're petting the cat I hate wording it this way, but as somebody who has petted a Sphinx cat, this is the easiest way to explain it. It feels like touching raw chicken. That's the texture. But the skin is soft and it's not dry. But as you are petting it, you feel the raised markings of the symbols. They're tattooed into the skin. The cat reaches up with a paw and just baps you on the nose, and you are awake again in the middle of the hall.
I think Canterbury is surprised to find themselves like having fallen asleep in a hallway. Like if there was like a montage of this, you would just see Canterbury like asleep in various places, like against the wall, standing in a hallway, sitting in a chair, on top of like a meeting table. You know, one time just completely face down asleep in the birthday sheet cake. Like it's not the first time this has happened, and they just kind of just blink and just go, okay, well, that was maybe I'll log that in my dream journal. And they laugh to themselves, but it's like like the most exhausted laughter, like, yeah, no, I'm so funny. And then it's just like that sad sigh of God, I'm so lonely.
Oh. What are the other two doing?
Raka wants to is still thinking about the chocolate baskets that they get every week and looks to Sassy. I wonder, do they ever think about the werewolf colleagues? Wouldn't this poison them? I don't think dogs can eat chocolate.
Let's check with Savish over there.
Hmm?
Savish, you're a werewolf.
Yeah?
What, do you get chocolates on Fridays, or do they, like, give you peanut butter, or what?
So there's a thing called dog chocolate that isn't chocolate, but it tastes like chocolate.
How do you know it tastes like chocolate if you've never had chocolate?
I had chocolate before I turned into a werewolf when I was like really young.
Well, that settles that then.
Well, now we know not to switch baskets with anybody else.
Oh, ours has like a pink ribbon on ours.
Surprisingly thoughtful.
Mm-hmm. Though y'all got the really nice baskets today.
Oh, they finally recognized my worth.
That could be it.
Oh, I was just saying it was probably a sign that y'all were about to go on a job. But yeah, you can think that.
Sassy will move to her desk and check her email to see if there's any mention of a job.
Okay. I will. Is everybody at their desks?
Yeah, Raka will glide on over.
Glide, I love
I
that.
think Canterbury, in order to do the task that their handler asked of them,
Mm-hmm.
They are not burning it. They are over at the shredder, the company shredder.
Okay.
And they are putting all those papers into the shredder, and it's just like, yeah, it'll. I think we burn all these documents at the end. I don't whatever. Amina. You need to go do this. Canterbury, you need to go do that. Nah. I'm so pretty with my dumb hooves. And then we'll just go sit down.
So, on each of your desks, starting with Canterbury, there is a really nice box of chocolate-covered coffee beans.
Yeah, Canterbury just starts immediately like, oh, good, I needed these, and just starts shoveling them into their mouth.
There was a sticky note saying that you only eat 2 within a 24-hour period, but I feel like you just ignore that. Raka,
Mhm.
what is your ideal box of chocolates?
Oh, there's flavors that don't exist anymore. After time, like fruits change. The citron is no longer the citron. It got bred with another citrus into a lemon. Lemon chocolates will do, I suppose, but I'd really love, oh, like an old, like earthy pre-rhubarb chocolate.
Okay. I love rhubarb. Um, there is a box, and the chocolates are very prettily decorated. There's like splashes of gold on it, and you take a bite, and there is a very familiar earthy taste to this chocolate.
Oh, it seems the office is finally coming to its senses. Also, I missed this.
Mm. Sassy, what is your ideal box of chocolates?
Um, they're not necessarily um strange flavors, but they are shaped into penguins
Cute.
because at one point when Sassy was wandering the earth, she did make it down to South America and did meet the penguins there. And she was very, very fond of them.
So, you have little penguin shaped chocolates, and as all of you open up your computers, there is an email that pops up. All it says is Memo, the oldest house. Omen class monsters, several personnel, agents, and Omen class monsters have been reported missing, changed, or terminated. Black alert protocols activated. Do not approach the oldest house. It does not exist. It lies are ancient and inescapable. It is hungry and cannot be sated. The oldest cat has come to me in my dreams and purred against what is left of my heart, but I cannot remember. I can't remember what the oldest house wants me to do. I need to disappear. I need to become changed and unchanged, body and unbody. And please don't open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. I don't want to. Please, please, please. And then it cuts off. It is a email from a agent that went missing 3 weeks ago. At the bottom, it says, for the 3 of you, access granted, look into the oldest house. The contact is the oldest cat, and it gives a description of the lavender sphinx cat, of what the contact looks like.
Yeah, I think after reading all that in the description, Canterbury just takes a moment, chews thoughtfully on some more chocolate-covered coffee beans, and then just goes, eh, and then pulls up Solitaire onto their computer and starts playing that instead, because Canterbury is abandoning their responsibilities, because I want some darkness tokens.
Grab it. I love that. You are playing Solitaire. I kind of want to just say, like, the old school, like, Solitaire that we grew up with, where you could just change the deck to, like, seashells, or there was one with, like, a spider web or something. So, like, the old 1990s Solitaire.
Absolutely, it's the old version.
And then, as you are playing and not dealing with your responsibilities, because honestly, you've done a lot of work today. You shredded some files. You dealt with Amina. You actually did some socialization, and maybe you got closer with Raka and Sassy a little bit today. But you feel a very familiar presence behind you. Cant, what are you doing?
I'm trying to beat my personal best at Solitaire, obviously. What are you doing?
I'm wondering why you're not with the other two for the job that you need to go on?
You know, it's just these coffee beans. I'm waiting for the coffee beans to kick in. I mean, you know, we don't want a repeat of that one time several months ago where I kind of fell asleep in that dumpster, right? When we were supposed to be chasing down that person. It was so hard to get that smell out of my tie. That was like my fourth favorite tie. I gotta wait for the coffee beans to kick in, and in the meantime, I'm prepping my mind, and you see like Canterbury give like the shakiest smile of, yeah, this is working, right? Like, yeah.
I think your coffee beans have kicked in, Canterbury. You are shaking a little bit. How many did you have?
How many mathematically fits into a fistful? Because I've had at least a fistful.
I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not. No. I'm not. No. Mm-mm. Okay. So, did you do what I asked?
Absolutely took care of that file and its papers within for you, because I always do what you tell me to do, because I am a good Canterbury.
There is a little nod from Amina before Amina heads off, though there is a bit of a pause before looking over the shoulder. Can't. That means get up from your desk and go join your teammates.
Yeah. Oh gosh. You know, I think those coffee beans, it's a miracle. My legs had fallen asleep and now they're awake. Look at me go. Woo. And it's just the slowest getting up from their chair, and just kind of you hear like joints cracking and creaking and muttered curses from Canterbury when something pops that they weren't expecting, and they're just like, yeah, no, I'm vertical. I'm up and moving. Praise the heavens.
There is a bit of a snort that comes from Amina and the stomping of a hoof before Amina just walks off. The temper almost flared for a brief second. One of the human agents just leans from their desk. Ooh. Fair mad. Somebody's gonna get
Is
beat up in
always
training.
mad.
Somebody's getting beat up in training today.
Fair is always mad, just like how I am always tired. Mind your business, Dennis. Go back to, you know what? Why don't you go back to playing Free Cell, Dennis? I can see it from here.
Ugh, fine. And they just shove up the glasses up their nose. They're like the typical, like, scrawny, doesn't see the light of day, stays indoors all the time, kind of nerd. And of course, they're playing Free Cell. They should put better games on these computers, but no, the office is stuck in the 90s.
Sassy is telling Raka a story because we were told about a Sphinx cat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Sphinx cats, they're really reminiscent of some of my family. The wrinkles, the nose. I think they're very wise.
I was about to ask how a cat could be wise, but I suppose wisdom is relative.
They were always the wisest of us.
Hmm.
The cat-nosed.
So there's the cat-nosed, there's she's trying to list in her out loud. Because you would think she would remember. Is Mara asking, is the cat-nosed analogous to the big-footed? Are those categories, or are the cat-nosed part of the big-footed?
I'm thinking some of the Bigfoots had cat noses.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think we were like a mix of different yeah. Okay, well, let's go see if this Sphinx knows something.
Do you reckon Canterbury fell asleep again?
I hope so. Let's go collect them.
Yeah, because Canterbury has gotten up, but they haven't really moved from their desk. They're still just kind of going through the gift basket, eating one coffee bean at a time. Yeah, I said I was, and definitely talking to themselves. They're like, yeah, Amina, I'm gonna go do the mission, but you didn't say go do the mission right now. I'm gonna finish these coffee beans. I'm so cool.
Dennis doesn't say a word.
Personally, I think I should be maybe in charge of this place so that we can finally shut it down and I can take a nap. Ooh, we should definitely have office. No, if we do office required, yeah, that's dumb. Come on, Canterbury, think. If they do office naps, then it'll be on a schedule, and is that what you want? Then Amin will be like, oh, you only need 2 minutes. Okay, that was your, government sanctioned nap. Now you got to get up and get on the treadmill or walk around to shake it off. If they had Fair's way, I'd probably just be eating crusts of bread and water. And they're just having a full-on involved conversation with themselves because that's just what Canterbury does to try to, one, get better at socialization, but two, just to try to keep themselves properly socialized. They don't get out much. So that's probably what the two of you find when you walk up. It's just Canterbury having an involved conversation with themselves, and they're doing little hand puppets you're so right, Cant. You're amazing, Cant. I know, aren't I? I should definitely be in charge. And probably right as you walk up, they're doing this, and then they see you, Sassy, and they're just oh, hey, ready for we're pink cats.
Sassy feels a little rejected because Burr wasn't having that conversation with her, but instead with themselves.
My heart.
One of Raka's hands just like pats Sassy's shoulder, I guess reaching up a little bit. Like, oh, but we had a great conversation.
That's true. I just wish Burr wouldn't leave me out of all of their conversations. They're so interesting to talk to.
Well, fine then.
Oh, no, you're also interesting to talk to. I didn't mean that. Oh
Well, you've got eons to make it up to me. Canterbury, are you awake? I mean, I suppose that's relative.
And they just eat like the last coffee bean. Yeah, that's probably as good as I'm gonna get. I'm once all the beans wear off, it's I'm probably gonna have to like, sleep in a park again or something. But that's a problem for future Canterbury. I guess we have to go find a cat or something. I had the weirdest dream about a cat earlier in the hallway. The cat wasn't in the hallway. I was sleeping in the hallway again. And so Canterbury's just gonna quickly tell Sassy and Raka about the dream that they had.
Okay, so as you were doing that little hand puppet thing with your hands, on one of your hands, on the back of it, there is an inverted black pyramid that is pulsing underneath your skin. That's new.
Yeah, I'm like Canterbury's definitely gonna look at their hand and be like, Did I wake up in another tattoo parlor and get a tattoo? Although actually I have a question.
Yes.
So Canterbury canonically, their character, they have arcane sigils on their body that's mostly hidden by their suit.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like pyramid getting in the way of that? Because I'm realizing in this moment I never described this to y'all, so I'm sorry. But I also envision them kind of going up to on the back of their hand as well. So
Ooh. I'm gonna say it doesn't overpower the rest of your markings. It looks like it sits right in the middle of a empty space that you had on your skin. But as you're watching it, the pyramid is slowly rotating on your hand. But it's not in the way of your other sigils.
I think Canterbury kind of squints at it and pokes at it a little and is like, huh, okay, not an office prank like that time everyone drew mustaches on me. That wasn't funny. Guess that's just, I don't, what do y'all think? And Canterbury is going to, turn slightly so that they can see the new marking on their hand. I think this is new. I don't think I had that earlier.
You went
Kinda
and
cool
got
though, huh?
tattoos without me?
No, I would never get tattoos without you, Sassy. Remember the last time we talked about this, we were gonna get little like ankle tattoos. It was gonna be really cool. Not quite sure. I mean, we were still trying to figure out the logistics of how that would work with, the hair, which love the fur. Just I swear I haven't gotten a new one. This one just kind of appeared.
Well, I mean, I would take the furs off. I look at my hands. Are there any markings on my hands?
Huh, there's a similar mark.
Oh, wait. Maybe we did get tattoos together.
I presume
Maybe.
if Raka were to look at one of her forehands, she would see the same.
Yes.
Well, I certainly don't remember getting tattooed.
We all did it together.
I remember
We
most
match.
things.
I'm poking at it.
You feel it pulsing.
It's a weird feeling.
Mm-hmm. It feels like a heartbeat.
Does it feel different than my own heartbeat?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they beating in sync?
It's different. This one's a bit slower.
Huh. Do you think it's related to our newest assignment?
Like a tracking? Or like from the assignment?
Oh, maybe it is a tracking thing. It does sound like someone went missing. That must be what it is. It's just a tracking marker. They're keeping us safe.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis, was it?
Yeah?
Do you have one of these strange tracking tattoos?
No?
Oh.
Well, were you sent on the mission to the oldest house?
Oh god, no. Oh god, no.
Hmm.
Raka,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you.
All right.
You were part of the first team that was sent in to infiltrate the oldest house. Only you survived. What are you afraid of seeing again in the oldest house? Which agent still haunts your dreams, begging you to rescue them?
Ooh. So what am I the most scared of, and who do I most remember? Or like who haunts me in that way?
Yep.
Hmm. You know, Raka doesn't get scared of a lot, but there's something unsettling about the screams as they disappeared that reminds her of the past. And that unsettles Raka, like in a not again sort of way. And there was one human agent on that exploratory mission that reminds Raka a lot of one of her last priestesses, uh, Agent Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
The last name escapes Raka. Such formalities don't normally matter. Um, and Raka felt a, a fondness for Sarah, and so Sarah missing reminds Raka of her people from in the same way that Sassy does.
Mm-hmm.
And so I suppose in this moment of like putting together that this is probably the same house, you see Raka's demeanor sort of shift a bit, and she's like a lot more guarded. Like her upper two arms, which normally kind of just float about, they're more of the like not like accessory arms, but not her primary limbs,
Mm-hmm.
are much closer to her, almost as if to prepare to defend. And you can see just the slightest bit of gold seeping, not in like a she's actively crying, but just like seeping from an eye.
Uh, Dennis just watches and slowly scoots away from Raka. Cause squishy human. Um, do y'all want information that we have on the house before you go, or no?
I would have assumed that they would have given that to us. If they did not, yes.
Okay. So prepare. There's a bit of a long blurb coming. Yes.
Okay.
So, there is a singular place that is older than the universe itself. It has taken on many forms over the millennia, both horrifying and comforting. Eventually, it named itself the Oldest House. It has its own sentience, desires, and agenda. The Oldest House can appear anywhere. People in the area will have their minds and hearts slowly and gently rewritten. If enough time passes, they believe the Oldest House has always been there. It'll become beloved. Sometimes it appears as a quaint cottage, an old office building, a lonely hotel, or an abandoned mansion. Then the old house will begin to call out. The Oldest House is seeking something or someone. One by one, humans and monsters alike will enter the Oldest House. Soon, the people who once knew and loved them will forget they ever existed. So they say. After a while, the Oldest House vanishes. When the Oldest House leaves, it leaves behind something or someone. New monsters birth new folk tales that somehow have always been told. New people with beautifully crafted memories that will change the world around them forever. Often, what is left by the Oldest House can be used by the harbingers of the apocalypse. Division has been aware of the Oldest House for quite some time. Rumors have it that several key personnel of Division were rescued from the Oldest House. Other rumors suggest that Division owes much of its power to what the Oldest House has left behind. Division reports of the Oldest House are inconsistent, confusing, and obfuscate more than what they clarify. A litany of eyewitness reports contradict each other, evidence gone missing or taken on new forms. Photographic and video evidence grows strange, especially if left alone and unobserved. Some Division personnel only have one job: to ensure a pair of eyes are always watching the evidence and listening to its whispers. It doesn't seem to help. Evidence remains the same, but the personnel will find themselves deeply changed and will dream of the Oldest House. Many of them disappear under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind strange letters, warnings, and manifestos. The Oldest House, however, rumored, has found its way into the heart of Division. Its power now tied to one of the strangest places on Earth. It calls out, and several agents have gone missing. With every passing moment, Division is changing into whatever the Oldest House wants it to be.
Do you think it's through that door that Amina won't let you go through?
I mean, maybe Faye doesn't let anyone go through that. I mean, as far as I'm aware, for all I know, Faye could let all the quote unquote cool handlers in there. Maybe it's a handlers only club. Maybe, they party back there. Maybe that's where they're hiding the good. Maybe that's where maybe Faye is hiding the good coffee back there. Instead of the low quality coffee.
Couple times you heard screams.
I mean, yeah.
And Raka mentioned screams. I think we have to investigate.
I mean, I hear screams not infrequently, but for different reasons.
But you said in the house.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I lost in myself for a moment. Easy to do.
Are y'all gonna continue talking, or are you going to follow me? There's the lavender cat just sitting on the floor staring at you all.
Sassy bows deeply.
I think Canterbury just kind of stares at the cat for a very long moment and then just goes, oh, you're not a hallucination. You're okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. And it's just gonna hesitantly reach out to see if they can touch the cat or if they really are just having
You can
sleep
touch the
hallucinations.
cat, you can touch the cat, and the texture is still the same on the skin.
Oh, okay. You're okay. You're actually here. Actually, also, am
Are we good to continue?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yes.
the cat is sitting there asking you to follow. Do you all follow the cat, or do you look around first?
I think Raka would turn to at least look to Dennis to, I don't know, make a quip or.
There's no Dennis.
Are there
Um,
still desks?
you see what looks like a foyer. An old couch that has probably seen some better days. There's an old tiny TV on with the static going. Um, if you know anything about the 1950s, live broadcast television actually stopped after 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and it goes straight to static. So that is what you're seeing. It's like one of those old tube TVs with the dials, with the little antenna sitting on top. There's an old rotary phone sitting on a desk that's nearby. And if you look again, there's like a hallway right in front of you that is building before your eyes.
Cat,
Hmm?
did you bring us here just now?
It's always been here.
Okay, but Dennis had also always been here.
The house is merging with Division.
Uh,
So the house laid Dennis off?
Dennis is still in
no.
the office. We're in and not in the office, though the oldest house has been pretty rude lately.
What's your name so I don't just keep calling you Cat?
You can call me Cat. My name is the oldest cat.
I am the only Bigfoot. But you can call me Sassy.
I know who you are, Sassy. You've been in here before.
What are my moves? Is there a move I can roll right now? We can't grasp keys yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Uh, what do you mean? Is that what this tattoo's about?
I think so, though. My memories have been a bit wonky as of late, though. I'm just calling it a cat's intuition right now.
Do
so
I?
do you
Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
so do you just live in the oldest house, Cat?
I do. I just watch over the oldest house.
Okay. I think I'm gonna take you with us. Maybe you'll be a good luck charm. And Canterbury is going to attempt to scoop up the oldest cat and just kind of put them on their shoulder.
The cat allows themselves to be lifted up. Um, they do want to show you something, and they start to give directions towards a place. As y'all are walking down this hall and the place is settling finally, you see small plaques with little titles on them, such as the Garden Eternal, the Cracked Vow, the Night's Scream. I need everyone to roll something for me. I need you to roll 2d6 and whatever darkness tokens you wish to spend.
I will spend 1 darkness token.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have paper on us?
You do.
Okay. I would like to start jotting down what I see and stick that note in my pocket.
Okay.
I got an 11.
Okay.
I should not have spent a darkness token.
And the others?
I'm not spending any tokens because I already rolled a 12.
Okay.
I didn't plan on spending any darkness tokens, and I'm still not going to because it won't help. I rolled a 3.
Okay. Let's start with the 11 pluses first. Because, Canterbury, you're about to be on for a wild ride here in a minute. So, I will allow you to choose from one of the above options. Each, Raka and Sassy. You find a friendly face. You find an object from the oldest cat that can help you. Or, you find evidence about, spoiler, your past self on what to do next.
Raka, you choose first.
I'll take the evidence.
Okay.
Because I know I've been here before.
Okay. Sassy and you?
I'll take the cat thing.
Okay. So, we'll start with you two. You two find yourselves in a very old room with very old IBM computers. And the screen starts typing up your movements. And whatever you have said in this house is on the screens. Though, on the screen, it says, "Go no further. Division is ours. The apocalypse is on our own terms." And yet, the computer glitches, and all you hear is the sound of printers beeping, like they're out of paper. And yet, some of the printers are hastily painted in thick strokes of red. And on the printers, there is a message in very familiar font to Raka. "Help us. You almost made it last time. Don't give up." And there's your name written on the bottom. And it's made out of golden ink. As you go to touch it, you cut your finger on it. You get a paper cut. You're not bleeding gold. You're bleeding red.
Raka takes another hand, a different hand,
To
and
see
gives herself another paper cut.
gold. And yet, when you look at your hand again, it's gold.
Raka turns to Sassy. Did you? I was just bleeding, like human blood. But I'm not. Did you see?
Did I see?
No. In fact, you just watched them staring at the computer for the past 5 minutes.
You've just been staring at the computer. It's telling us to go no further. Division is ours.
I was at the printer, and I've been here before, and I left a message.
I have powers of time distortion.
Okay.
Is there a way I can reverse time for the last 5 minutes and re-watch it?
All right. Let me check to see if you have to roll for that real quick. Wee.
I think that's push through darkness.
Yes. Please roll a push through darkness roll.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. So, let me check what this does, and then we'll cut to Canterbury here in a second. All right. Power through darkness. You manage to wind back time 5 minutes. You see it glitches like a computer glitch. You see for a very brief second, Raka is at the printers looking at something, but then it glitches to them looking at the computer screen. And then as it distorts and fades away, you see that the two timelines are kind of occurring at the same time, and yet you see a glimpse of a third one. Canterbury's in the room with you, but when you look around, Canterbury's not in the room with you.
Interesting.
And as you look, you see a floppy disk sitting on the desk, which is your item from the cat.
Okay.
Now, Canterbury. I am so sorry. Can you Okay. You walk down the halls, and you're pretty sure you're going where you need to go. But somehow, you're in a room with a grand chandelier, lush carpeting, and a friendly swarm of multiple bellboys that are starting to swarm you. The concierge is trying to beckon you over to hand you a room key. However, the cat is now gone. I have a question for you. If you take the key, what horrifying thing is waiting for you in your hotel room?
So that's an if statement. Is there an option to not take the key
There
and
is
just
an
try to
option.
leave?
There is an option, and you can try to leave. And if you try to leave, you're gonna end up elsewhere.
Okay. I think for Canterbury, I think first off they're surprised that the cat isn't there because they were definitely hoping like, oh, if I have this cat with me, I can't get lost. The cat lives here, so it's like I'll be safe. And it's like, oh snap, there's no cat.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, this is probably fine. And I think just to get away from all of the like bellhops, they just kind of try to slip past them because I feel like that's too many people for Canterbury to be interacting with.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
like as like unsocialized as they are. It's like, oh, this is too much interaction at once. Oh, a singular person with like a conversation that I can make a script in my head for. Perfect. So they just rush over there and they're just like, oh yes, hello, I am here for the key. Yes, I will take that key and go to my room. Ha 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 ha. I am normal. I do think that what is waiting for them in the hotel room, um, I think it's the thing that Canterbury is always afraid of, that they don't like to talk about, which is the demon that whispers dark schemes to them while they're asleep. I think that's what's probably behind that door. And I feel like that's probably also just been like a recurring nightmare in general for Canterbury. Like those awful nightmares you have where it's just like you're just staring at a door, but you know there's something behind there and you can feel the fear and the dread and you don't want to open it, but like it starts opening on its own. Ugh, I have nightmares like that all the time.
Yeah. So, as you were trying to leave, you get a very brief glimpse of something that is chilling to the spine. It has no face, yet there is a giant golden halo with a bunch of eyes, sets of wings, but yet it has a body. And black pyramids are surrounding it, floating in the air. They slowly rotate. And like with the glimpse of an eye, it's gone. You escaped the bellhops. Are you trying to find your friends?
I mean, so what happened with the key that I took from the concierge? Is that just like, do I physically have that, or is it gone?
You physically have the key.
Okay.
I do have something that I would like you to roll.
Okay.
Can you please roll grasp keys?
Yes, I can. That's 2d6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Making sure I got the right dice in hand. Let's see. Okay, that's probably a little bit better. Okay, that is... I thought so. That's a 6.
So, I will let you know. You may choose to mark ruin to uncover a key, but doing so, I get to reveal how you become closer becoming a harbinger. Or you just have the results of you find out more than what you were ready for.
You know, I don't know. Let me see. Okay. I decided to leave it up to flip a coin. So we'll just say that Canterbury just finds more than they were ready for.
So you get a memory as you're holding this key, and the being that you saw moments ago, and you see multiple timelines of it sitting down, and there's bunches of threads of different times. However, you see a glimpse of it watching various gods fall. You see a glimpse of Raka's fall. There is a very familiar sense of loneliness and yearning from this being. And as you look down and look at the key is not a traditional old style hotel key. It is a key, but the very top of the key is the shape of a broken heart. And an inverted pyramid at the very bottom of the heart. You all have uncovered a key. All right. How is Canterbury feeling getting all of these memories that are not of their own?
So I think having seen, I mean, first off, having seen that weird no face sort of angel thing with wings and a bunch of pyramids was already just kind of like jeez. And then having seen, I think for the most part, Canterbury was like coping super hard, like just saying internally to themselves, "This is fine, this is cool, this is fine," until they saw that scene of Raka falling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, I do think Canterbury is a bit shaken up, especially because they do want to be near Raka and spend time with them and just straight up worship them. So I think seeing like the scene of her falling was just like, oh, this is serious. This is really something. Like I think definitely the first coherent thought Canterbury had was, oh, I shouldn't have seen that. This is not for me to have looked at. Like looking at something like so divine, just being in that presence was like doing something profane. And then the fact that loneliness came afterwards just kind of reminded them of their own loneliness. I think it's kind of made them sort of reflect inward and close themselves off in an attempt to protect themselves, and with also a heady dose of denial of, I didn't see anything. Nothing happened. There was nothing behind that door. Everything is the same as it's always been. I'm just here doing my job. I need more coffee. I think is like several thoughts going through. Like it went from, I should not have seen that. I saw nothing. God, I need more coffee in an attempt to cope.
Okay, so you're going through the process of trying to rationalize and also forget what you just saw.
Yes.
You turn around, you're back in the hallway again. And you hear the sound of printers, keys being typing, and you hear the familiar sound of Raka and Sassy. And I think that's where we're going to leave our first episode. So I have some questions to ask you guys for the end of the session. La-di-da-da. What page is it on? I think it's like 190 something. All right, here it is. Did any of you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I think we all expressed in some way that our mundanities
Mm-hmm.
in our life at Division, like chit chat, speaking with coworkers, checking in, like, oh, coworker, like, do they poison you with chocolate? Are you okay? Like,
I think all of you can mark one experience for that. The next question, did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin? Raka did for sure.
what is our impending ruin is like it's not personal to us. It's whatever is coming in this mystery.
So ideas for impending ruin is you were torn between and made a surprising choice. You chose to reveal your heart and reveal something new, which I think you did by telling the story to Raka. You spent a bond with what darkness demands of you, and or you filled your rune track and revealed a glimpse of what your omen could be like as a harbinger.
Okay.
This next question, I will say you all got this one. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? You all did in this session. And then Canterbury, you don't have to mark a ruin because you uncovered at least one key of the apocalypse this session. The other two has to mark a ruin.
Didn't Raka uncover a shadow key?
That's right, you did. No, Canterbury did.
I was like,
Canterbury
Oh, that was
did.
Canterbury
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
did the shadow key. Oh, okay.
Yep. So, the other two mark one rune.
Okay.
Tune in next week to see what our monster agents are going to do in this timey-wimey. Yes.
Our impulses.
Yes.
Did you share a story of your people and what you lost? For me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did do that with the cat.
Yes, you did. There's so much to keep tabs of.
I would like to think I blessed Joe and Dennis with the immeasurable glory of my presence.
Yes, you did. And then Canterbury.
yeah, I didn't do mine. I don't think I shouldered the responsibility of another you shouldn't care for.
Do you care for Amina or no?
No, I don't. I honestly, I think Canterbury hates Amina.
Okay, then you succeeded.
Yeah, you did get up
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and do
negatives.
what Amina said.
Mm-hmm.
What Faye asked you to do. I think I said they Faye. No, what Faye asked you to do.
All right. And on that note, let's see what happens to our group of monsters. Next session in our oldest house mystery.